Greetings, Louisiana. This is Keiristin Wilbur with the Louisiana Weekend, and today's guest is the real deal. He is the strongest proponent of Baton Rouge swamp blues. He's a true Louisiana bluesman. He started playing in his father's band at age 13 and has been blessing us with wonderful blues music for over 3 decades. Let's welcome Louisiana swamp bluesman Kenny Neal.
All right, all right. It's so good to see you. How are you?
Wonderful.
Oh, good.
Thanks for being here.
Yes,
Have a seat.
it's a pleasure. My pleasure.
I would say the crowd loves you. The crowd loves you because I hosted Live After 5, and I've been going to all the Live After 5.
Oh, when to sing?
Oh, when to sing. But when you perform, like the crowd was electric the whole time. It's just amazing that type of effect you have on them.
Yeah, it's just so nice to connect with the family. I mean, with the fans out there, and just wonderful to have that connection because I could feel their vibe.
That's right. Yeah. And I know you just hummed "When the Saints," but that was like a special moment. You started singing, and then the whole crowd was like singing along with
That's
you.
Right.
That was great. And then I got to go on stage too, y'all.
That's right. And then, so you just wanna have a great time. That's what the music
Yes,
is
we
for,
want to
you
have
know?
a great time, and you have such wonderful music. Like I listen to "Let Life Flow" all the time.
One of my mom's favorites, Shirley Neal. That's her favorite. Yes. She
So
loves that.
I have you have a picture. You had a portrait made of your mom. Is
Yes.
that right? That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. What's your beautiful portrait?
One of my friends down in Miami painted it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
So you
Did
did
a
one
great
of your
job.
mom and your dad?
Yeah, I have both of them hanging up in the studio where I do all my recording.
Oh wow! So, and I know family means a lot to you because you had a lot of family at the Live After 5 concert. So, what does family mean to you?
Well, family has always been. I mean, my dad and my mom started us, you know, started their family, and when they wanted to keep that family tree going, I mean, they really wanted to do it. I'm the oldest of 10.
Wow.
So it was 7 boys and 3 girls. And, you know, we always was taught to love one another. Don't fight with each other, you know. And we was lucky through our music that kept us out of trouble. And my parents didn't allow no fighting around the house with each other. So we would get in trouble if we did that. So it's just, we always, even now when my family go on the road with me and tour, we get in the green room and we talk about things, and you think that we hadn't seen each other in months, but we're together every day, and we do that all the time.
You're together every day, even now?
Even now, we see each other somewhere throughout the day because our mom house is our headquarters.
Oh, I know all about that.
So we in and out of that house, and we run across each other somewhere through the pass of a day, you know.
And then there's always like a slice of cake, right? It's always something to eat and
Food
always
on
some
the
cake.
stove, you know. Get some of the mustard greens and cornbread. I think it's very important for family to stick together, love one another, and enjoy life. That's what I say every night at the end of my show.
And you always have a lot of family at your shows too. I noticed that.
Yeah.
So that's neat.
And that's good. When people think of Kenny Neal and they come out, they bring the kids, you know, and I always find time to say hello to everybody. I mean, everybody's saying, "Hey, Kenny, how you doing?" But, you know, I grew up where my grandmother, she would always tell me, she'd say, everybody is somebody, you know, and I remember that. So, you know, you don't pass nobody up. You don't judge the book by its cover.
So now you've won like so many awards. I was just looking at the list of all of the awards you've won. And you have all these albums, and now you're working on a new album that's coming out today.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's
So
it's
tell
called
us about
Straight
it.
From the Heart.
Straight from the Heart. Now I have a quick question just about the album art itself. I noticed you used the King of Hearts.
Yeah.
Why did you use the King of Hearts and as part of the album art?
Well, you know, when the album designer guy flew in from Memphis to come spend a day, he spent a couple of days with me. And he was walking around the house, you know, and I welcome him into the house. And the picture of the album cover is the back of my guitar because I've been playing that guitar for over 40 years.
That's the same guitar?
That's the same guitar. I never changed.
What?
The same one you saw me play. I've been playing it since 1979.
Wow. So you can start like a guitar maintenance shop, like of how you were able to do that.
How I kept it that long.
1979. So you've been playing over 40 years. My intro was really long. I didn't even give him enough credit.
There you go. But yeah, so he walked around and he said, "Hey, do you have a deck of cards?" I said, "Well, I don't know if I have a deck of cards." Sure enough, I opened the drawer and there was a brand new deck, and we don't play cards, but it was there. So he pulled out the King of Hearts, and he laid it on the back of my guitar and snapped the picture, and that's where it started from. I guess because it was coming straight from the heart, and the King and Kenny with the K,
right?
It all came together.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's
so awesome.
Like magic almost, but it worked.
Wow.
And I call it straight from the heart because throughout the last 30-some years that I've been putting out records, I never recorded on my own turf in Louisiana. I always went to Nashville, New York, LA, never Baton Rouge. So I moved back from California to my roots and decided to put a studio together. And I recorded at my studio, and I had the chance to go back and get some of the elder musicians that don't play anymore, welcome them in, and they played on the album as well. They used to play with my dad, Ray from Neal.
Really?
And then I did 2 Zydeco songs on the album.
Yeah.
So I went over to Lafayette, Mamu, and got these guys who grew up with it, and they came in because we've been friends for years. And so when I say straight from the heart, I really meant it. This came straight from the heart.
So we can't expect anything. You have to just listen.
Yeah, and my birthplace was New Orleans, so the video that I did, I wrote a song that make me remember what I remember as a kid growing up of New Orleans. I did my own New Orleans style song and video.
Oh wow. So I had a sneak peek.
Did you?
Or sneak listen at your album. I'm so excited for the world to hear it. But this is like one of my favorite songs on the album, New Orleans. Well, because I'm from Mississippi originally.
Okay.
So I felt like you were singing to me.
Yeah, the
Mississippi Queen in New
go.
Orleans. I thought that was neat. But we do have a clip of your video.
Oh, good.
We want to show our viewers.
Oh, can you play some of it?
Yes, I'll play it.
Be my Mississippi Queen down to New Orleans. The place to go to cleanse your soul.
Now, I recognize a lot of the scenes. So that was Henry Turner Jr.'s listening room.
Yeah.
I recognize that. I recognize, of course, we all recognize New Orleans. That's neat.
Yeah. So I decided to do it myself, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Piece of history. Well, that's a mule that I'm riding.
What?
Yeah, that's not a horse. He's 80% thoroughbred, but he's a mule.
Is that your Arky?
Yeah, I had him for over 19 years.
Oh my
now.
goodness.
I had him out in California.
So you have a museum.
Well, this mule is kind of more of a star than I am because my fans across the world know him because he's been on front page covers of blues magazines,
Oh my God.
commercials and stuff like that. So that's Arky. That's my best friend.
Oh wow. Wow. So you are hierarchy. I don't know
Yeah.
if we'll get to see Arky.
Yeah.
Will we get to see Arky?
You got to come up to my place and
Well,
you
yes.
have an invitation. Come on up and I'll show you around the place.
Nice. Okay,
Good.
great. I'm excited
You got
about that.
it. You
So
got it.
speaking of coming to your place, so you're a Louisiana swamp bluesman, as people say. So when people come to Louisiana to see you, like what's the first place you take them? Where do you take them when they're in Louisiana?
Well, I bring them to my place and then we'll walk out in the back and go by the pond in the back. And, we got about 20 some acres back behind me. And so you can walk for a long ways because it's not stretched out, but it's long, which is pretty cozy. I'm going to be giving my blues festivals back there and on the back, so we're getting prepared for that. And then I take them to my mom's house, and if she's cooking good, I show them some of that good food, Try and take them around to different restaurants. One of my favorite places is Bullfish over there off of Nickerson.
That's not far from here.
Yeah, we do that. And I take them out to the Tony's because I'm good friends with these guys. And so, I just kind of show them around. And my sisters, Charlene and Darlene, are now setting up their own soul food restaurant. So I'll be taking them to that place And we already have had artists like Tito Jackson. I produced his album at the studio here in Brookstown Recording. And I have a record label called Booger Music, which I've started recording local acts from right here in Baton Rouge. That's what I want to put on my label, Booger Music.
Oh, nice.
And I'm doing gospel. I have Terrell Griffin and another Terrell Griffin. They're first cousins. They're going to be the first 2 albums that's going to be from out of Baton Rouge on Booger Music. With this album, I went back and I reminisce about when I was growing up and the older musicians that I grew up under. I would meditate and think about the music that they played. And I would hear it in my head and then I'd start writing my music. So I did a lot of thinking real hard about the songs that I was approaching and writing from when I was a kid. So that's why I call it Straight from the Heart, because I'm trying to remember all of this from a little kid.
So who are your musical influences?
Well, my dad, because you know I'm a country boy. I come from the country, so we didn't have a lot. So he was my mentor. That's the one I look up to. He would go out and play music and have musicians over, practice at home. So I felt like I always had a concert around my house, even though I was in the country. I would have people like Buddy Guy come by, Slim Harpo, Ernie Cato. All of these guys was around my house as a kid growing up.
Now you played with Buddy Guy at 17, right?
Yeah, Buddy Guy was a bass player. I was a bass player.
Ooh.
Yeah, when I first left home in 1976.
Wow.
Yeah, so I played with him, and as I got older, a couple of years into playing with his band, I go, man, I can do this. And I started writing my music.
Really?
Yeah, I started writing my own music and looking around trying to get a record deal. I used to go in and buy an album just to get the address off the back and send my music to that address.
That's so smart.
So
you were determined.
Yeah, I was determined. I was knocking on doors. They turned me around, but I still knock on it again. You know, but I want to tell the younger artists out there that 50% of it is business. You can be great talent, all the talent you want, but please just go out and learn the business part of it because it's so important to make that next step that you need to make in your career. And right now, today, you can go online and get all the information you need. And you get your stuff copyrighted, you write your songs, you go to BMI ASCAP and you get it copyrighted. And then that way you're protected. It's your stuff. Back to Straight from the Heart album.
Yes.
I'm
How do you want
really
people to
pleased
feel?
with it.
How do you want people to feel when they're listening to it?
I want them to walk away saying, wow, that was, you know, every song had its own identity. I'm going to New Orleans, I'm going to Mississippi, I'm going to Lafayette, I'm coming to Baton Rouge, I'm taking a stop off.
Taking a stop.
Well, I have a friend, I hope they can look him up, his name is Lucky Peterson, and he's one of the greatest Hammond B3 players. I mean, this came from Jimmy Smith mouth, and Jimmy Smith was one of our biggest Hammond B3 players. But he started with me from day one. When I first recorded, I helped him get his record deal, and he's been on every album that I've recorded.
Really?
Yeah. And last year a couple of years before the pandemic, he passed away.
Oh.
He's like my little brother to me. So, and he's been successful within his career, but he was always had these things coming that you get up here and it knocks him down again. It's like the blues was chasing him his whole life, you know. And so when I went to do this album, I didn't have him around to be there with me, and I thought about him, and I decided to write this song and dedicate it to Lucky Peterson. So that's where that song come from, my dear friend. That whole album is people that I knew and grew up and listening to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about Bon Ton Roulette.
Bon Ton Roulette, you know.
I like that one. It makes me do this.
That's when they get down on the bayou down there in Lafayette and Mamou and pull out the washboards and the black pots and start cooking up that food.
Ooh.
And then they start beating on the buckets and the guitars and just have a good time. That's down in the bayou. Bon Ton Roulette, let the good time roll.
Oh my God, it's excitement even just talking about it. That's just so neat. Like it feels like you pull out like the spirit of the community, the spirit of the people, and you put it in your music.
Yeah, I know. And I had the guys come over, and I played the demo for them. And they go, "Man, that's what I grew up with, man. Let's put the tape on. Let's play this." They didn't even want to practice. They knew they knew the music so well. They just said, "Okay, let's do it. Let's do it."
So wait, you didn't rehearse for the song? You just recorded it?
Well, I played it for them, and once they caught the idea, they knew what I was looking for. So then we go in, and I just make a little tweaking myself with them. But I didn't have to do much because it was so natural.
Wow.
Natural.
I didn't know that.
I went back to the time when we had Clifton Chenier, and I had Rockin' Doopsie family on the album. They go back generation. The Rockin' Doopsie Senior wore the crown for the video. I mean, for the Zydeco King. You know, they passed the crown down to different artists that coming up, and the Doopsie family been around for years, like my family, the Neal family, and also Buckwheat Zydeco. I was close with him. He passed away a few years ago, but his band members are still around, and so I didn't want to forget about these guys. So I brought them back, and they was happy to blow the dust off their guitars and drumsticks and come over and play.
Wow.
So it's more than just making another album. It's very touching for me to go back and get all these guys and put together. You know? I did a song by my dad, Rayful Neal, called "It's Been So Long."
Yeah.
And I had fun doing that because I kind of combined him and Fats Domino together. You know, if you listen to the song, I got the horns. Back then when they hire horn players, they was trying to get their money worth, so they wouldn't give the horns a break in the song. You know, you had to play something, anything to fill in a spot. So I did that with that album, with that song. I had the horns right there the whole time the song was playing. And it was fun doing it, and it's really unique. You know?
That is unique. No breaks.
No breaks. Got to blow.
So when you perform the album, are you going to invite everybody to come perform with you?
Maybe some shows locally I can, but the international shows I'll just have to.
International shows.
Yeah.
You just said that like, oh yeah, I'm going to the store.
Yeah, you know.
International shows.
Yeah, when we do our Germany, you know, England,
that's
France, and all that stuff. Which I think I'll probably be headed over there in another couple of weeks or a week and a half.
Can we go with you?
Are you ready to go? Yeah, so it's nice to take the music from right here out of our little town, Baton Rouge, and share it with the world.
That is
You know,
neat.
and I'm very proud of where I come from.
So you're like an
I
ambassador.
love my people here. You know what I mean? So I'm very proud of coming from Baton Rouge. A lot of folks get out there from small towns and then they forget about where they come from. Not me. Hey, every day going, I just say, well, you know, make the best of it.
Make the best of
Make
it.
the best of it. That's what I say.
That works in
So,
any situation.
and I don't like things to try and get me down. You know, and I want to keep
Well, you
that
sing the
spirit.
blues.
I want that spirit up. I got to let life flow. That's it. Let life flow.
So it's like
That's
there's
probably
like a
would be it for me.
let life flow. There's like everybody does line dance every time you play that.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have your own line dance.
It's yeah, they do the line dance to it, but the words are so powerful. You know, just when you think you got it all figured out, here comes something you never dreamed about. Life is so unpredictable, you know, and that's the way it is. And one thing I know for sure,
That's the way
I got
it
to
is.
let life flow.
I listen to that like on repeat.
All right, okay.
When you're traveling to Germany and all these places, and they ask you about Baton Rouge, like what's the first thing you tell them?
They ask me about Baton Rouge, and I tell them Baton Rouge is, our music is different. We call it swamp blues. Baton Rouge is different from the style of food we cook. The music is different because the music comes from Mississippi up north here. You know, the Delta is here. We got New Orleans that brings in the jazz and the ragtime influence here. We have the Cajun and the Zydeco from west of us here from Lafayette. And that mixture of music is right here. People from these areas live here. So our music is totally different. When you hear my album, it don't sound like a Chicago blues album.
No.
You know, it's got its own identity. And that's what's so special about it. And that's why I want my record company to start producing what we have to offer out of Baton Rouge.
So go to kennyneal.net and you can go to shop and buy your music and your merchandise. And we want some t-shirts. We want some straight from the heart
Straight
t-shirts.
from the heart. Got to get on it now.
Okay, is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to mention about your album, or just about you, or just about Baton Rouge?
Well, I don't know if my folks in this area know that, some of them probably do, that I had the lead role in a Broadway show. I was on Broadway for quite a while.
Okay.
And I took a break from my music, and Taj Mahal, the great blues singer whose birthday was yesterday, but
Happy belated birthday.
yeah, he recommended me to go to New York and audition, and I did, and I ended up with the lead role with 27 people in my cast. And I didn't want to do it at first, but I took these intensive coaching lessons for theatrical, and when the show was over with, I won the most outstanding newcoming actor on Broadway. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. Do you remember any of your lines?
Yeah, I had one line in there where me and my guy was talk about, he would say, "You love Daisy, you give her anything. You give her all your candies and stuff like that," because we was kids. I go, "Man, I wouldn't give a poor consumptive cripper crab a crutch across the River Jordan."
I love that.
So that was a tongue twister for me.
Oh, I love that. I love tongue twisters. They're great. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're multi-talented.
Well, you know, I was kind of pushed into the Broadway thing, but after I got the ball rolling, it was a piece of cake for me. I really enjoyed it. You know, so that was one of my things that I never thought that would happen in life.
But it did.
was good. But the most important thing is that, you know, they can find me at kennyneal.net or reach me at kennynealnews@gmail and send in their demo tapes. And if they want to come to the studio, I have the studio available here in Baton Rouge, and set up some time, and I would take time to listen to them and record them if something that's really worthwhile for us to do.
So he's accepting new artists.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful.
So I would love to do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So exciting. So exciting. It's accepting new artists. So if you have a tape, you want to play the blues, be a part of a legendary dynasty, Louisiana Swamp Blues Dynasty, is that what you're creating?
That's pretty good. I like that.
Then make sure you contact the legend himself, Kenny Neal.
There you go.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're so welcome. Thank you very much.
And we'll see y'all this weekend. Make sure you pick up the album, Kenny Neal, Straight from the Heart. This is Keiristin Wilbur with the Louisiana Weekend. We'll see y'all this weekend.
Who do all over you? Me and my Mississippi queen down in New Orleans.